Hi, I'm here with Dave Weiner, who plays for Steve Vai, of course. And Dave has tons of awesome effects and some really great amps, some really great guitars. So I wanted to just kind of take a quick minute, kind of run through everything and see what Dave's using on this tour.
Right, let's do it.
So right now, Dave has his pedalboard right here.
Yeah.
And a couple of really cool things on there. And then some Wamplers as well. So tell us a little bit about what you got.
Yeah, so, you know, the name of our touring season this year was about consolidation. I usually like to keep pedals in a drawer or a pair of drawers or so in the rack, just to keep what's at my feet as concise as possible. But consolidating this year, because we're doing a ton of fly dates all over Asia and in South America and such, went to just a pedalboard based switching system. So the heart of it is this one control called the crocodile tail loop, otherwise known as the OC10, which Tom Quayle actually turned me on to.
Yeah.
And put me in touch with these great folks over here, and this was the answer to the prayers, because it is concise, super lightweight, does exactly what I needed to do. Takes a bunch of pedals into a bunch of loops, MIDI controlled, changes the amp channels. It's exactly what I need, and you can see it's labeled lead, rhythm, some wah, dirty wah, just wah on the dirty channel. Got the phaser in there, some of the eventide stuff, and then a basic clean. And like I said, changes the channels, sends a signal out to a tuner. Just a really nice piece of gear to still have your switching happening, but in a consolidated kind of way. So I've got, you know, an Ernie Ball volume pedal, Mission Engineering re-wah, great wah pedal. This Roland EV5 is controlling some parameters on this H9. And this H9 is basically a bunch of delays. This H9 is a bunch of different reverbs. And of course, they do so much more. But that's what I'm using it for. I got a bunch of Peterson tuners up here. And we're using, as they're labeled, this is the sitar and the acoustic tuners. But we also use them as DI outputs. They actually are great DI outs. This is the acoustic section, which we usually have on a separate board, but again, we had to just kind of smush everything together. So I do have Exotic's SP compressor, you know, nice tiny little thing, and a TC Hall of Fame for a bit of reverb on the acoustic. And then I've got the Ego, which I can't say enough great things about, for the clean channel only. The dirty channel on most amps, in my opinion, has enough compression, but I actually like a pretty chewy clean. I just like the way it responds and feels and all that good stuff. So I actually don't have it set too aggressively, but it just adds that sonic glue on top that makes it not like a typical sterile kind of clean channel. It's got character and it makes it feel, you know, really nice. Overdrives, I'm always switching out a bunch of stuff, and this has been my go-to for most of this tour, the Dual Fusion, because it is, you know, as I'm sure most Wampler fans know by now, designed in corroboration with Tom Quayle, who's an amazing player, and the two pedals in one kind of thing, and of course you can change the direction of which pedal goes in front of which, and you can stack them, and all sorts of awesome stuff that I've been having a ton of fun really experimenting with and getting a lot out of. I do also have an RC booster up here, which is a super clean with a very, very minimal amount of gain, and I'll use that sometimes. And then, of course, an EVH Phase 90, which seems to be a staple on most guitar players' pedal boards, just because it's a beautiful, simple phase phaser pedal. And that's it. You know, like I said, it's all pretty simple. It's all looped. It looks like a lot, you know, and actually underneath it, there's a pair of G-Lab power sources. You know, a lot of stuff crammed on, but it's not that much. It's all just kind of in these loops and programmed with the little buttons, and it's nice and simple. I'm trying to get as simple as it gets. Right. You know, a lot of guitar players hear the word MIDI and they go running for the hills. But it's really a simple concept, and that's the board. It's nice and easy, and that's it.
Nice. Tell us about the amps you're using.
Yeah, I'm using Dave Friedman's BE100, which is, you know, kind of like the best modification plexi style out there, but it's different. It still is different. It has a very concise, articulate low end, and I play 7-string, so I need that. and it's got, you know, gobs and gobs of gain, but it's very musical gain. It's actually very tamed, and like I said, you can hear every note, and that's kind of hard to find in a lot of high gain amps. Right. But this has it, and it's got two gain stages, the BE and the HBE. Honestly, I never use the HBE. It's another gain stage. I don't need it. Sounds great, but I don't need it. And then it has what Dave calls a simple clean channel, which is just one knob and a bright switch. That's my clean for this gig. Anyway, and then I'm running that into an Orange 412 of vintage 30s and a PRS 412 of vintage 30s, just different flavors.
Cool. And
this is a PRS. This is a 25th anniversary 100-watt head, single channel. I don't use it that much for the show. I have the 50-watt version of this thing, and it's just, you plug into it, you know, you turn it all up, and you hit it, and it just punches you in the face. It's more of a classic rock bluesy type amp. So for the Vai gig, it's not. I plug into this thing for fun out here, really. Right. That's what it comes down to. But that's again a pretty simple kind of thing. And in the rack, there's a lot of stuff not being used. Really, the only things that are being used are the Line 6 G90 wirelesses. And I think there's a Furman up here, power conditioner, voltage regulator that we're using as well. That's it.
And you were telling me about your Axe effects. You said you were using just mainly some effects every now and then?
Yeah, when I use the Axe effects out here, all the modeling is off, and it's just for, it's basically the same way Steve uses it. All the modeling's off into the loop for some effects. But again, I've gotten so used to using this pedal board, and we were thinking of deconstructing the pedal board and putting it back to the way that I usually like it, which is everything in the rack. Right. But we're right after this US leg, we are you know, going down to South America for 3 weeks. Can't take that, so we decided to keep it all together just on the board. So all the effects are simply from there.
Cool, very cool.
This leg. So that's the amps.
So tell me about the guitars that Paul made for you.
I've been using PRS guitars since '09, and we've done a few custom guitars. This is a 7-string that they built for me, which is a bit different from what they usually do. It's a solid piece of ash, and then a flame maple neck and board. And these are DiMarzio PAF 7s, and it's basically a 7-string version of their custom 24. Yeah. This has been my main player out here for quite a while, and just a beautiful guitar.
Nice.
And we did this custom, well, I'll show you this one. This is an off-the-shelf, completely unmodified custom 24. This one we string with, I use Ernie Ball strings, usually 10 to 46 on a 6-string, 10 to 56 on a 7. These are 11s because we detune it, but that's it. I mean, it's a stock custom 24.
Very cool.
And then we did this custom. This is a 12. This is, again, it's basically a custom 24, but with different pickups, and I'm terrible with the details, so I'm not exactly sure which PRS pickups these are, but these are PRS pickups. But yeah, it's just a beautiful custom version of a custom 24.
Very nice.
And you know, out here I do use 24 frets with Steve and his music for my stuff, and you know, most of the other stuff that I do, I go back down to 22 or even 21 frets. But for the Vai gig, I need to get right, all that kind of stuff. But you know, I beat the crap out of these guitars nightly, and you know, the trems are great. They never go out of tune. And you know, if you see the show, which you guys will tonight, you'll see the abuse, and boom, they're in tune. So I can't say enough great things about the PRS stuff. And I actually do play a PRS acoustic as well. It's downstairs. But I use the SE version, which is their overseas model. Perfect for touring. It sounds great, plays great, and I have the USA one, which I keep at home in the studio. Right. And I don't want to take it out on tour. I could. I did actually take it last year, and now I leave it at home because I have the SE ones. But great guitars. Cool. Love the PRS stuff.
You mentioned about that other stuff that you do. Tell us about the new album you did.
I did an acoustic record last year called A Collection of Short Stories Volume 1, because it was just something I wanted to do as very different from my other records, which are, you know, electric rock guitar type of stuff. Very layered. They take a long time to write and record and all that kind of stuff. Love them, but I needed to do something, you know, different. Right. So as different as I could think, was an unaccompanied acoustic record. And so I did that. I guess that came out in August of 12, and I'm currently writing the second one. And yeah, I love doing it. It's a totally different thing that I was kind of unprepared for. But you know, just listen to the other players that are doing it, kind of learn what the genre is all about, and really enjoy doing it. Yeah, it's very relaxing.
Where can people pick it up at?
You know, the usual places: iTunes, CD Baby, Amazon, my website, daveweiner.com, and yeah, that's it. Mostly digital distribution. You can get the physical version from my site or CD Baby. But I'm a digital guy now. I know. On my site, if you buy the digital version, you actually get the same audio files that went to manufacturing to put on the disc. Because some people are like, I don't want the MP3.
Right.
And I understand, you know, so I offer them the actual CD quality file.
Nice.
That's the way, you know, that I'd like to listen to it.
Yeah.
But you don't need all the physical stuff. So I like doing it that way.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for walking us through your rig, man. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, man. Thank you so much for having me, and thanks for designing such awesome pedals.
Thank you.
Can't say enough good things about those either. Yeah.